You think you know these stories, don't you? You are wrong. You don't know them at all. 12 tales, 12 dangerous tales of mystery, magic, and rebellious hearts. Each twists like a spindle to reveal truths full of warning and triumph. Truths that free hearts long kept tame. Truths that explore life and death. Here is a preview of Beasts and Beauty, Dangerous Tales by Soman Chainani. Today's preview is from Hansel and Gretel. No one wants to hear a tale of warning, and yet children are told them all the time. Stories about young boys and girls who stray from the path and are punished for it. But sometimes children have to find their own way. When the house turns from a sweet haven into a cold witch's den. When it's mother or father that's the witch. Then deep into forbidden woods the children go, looking for the love they've lost, looking for a new place to call home. Take the case of Hansel and Gretel. Last you heard it's about two fair-haired babes who went off the forest path and nibbled a candy house and nearly got baked into a pie for it. It's not surprising you heard that version, full of warnings that grumpy adults love. How else can a spirit like yours be kept tame and under control? But that's not the true story of Hansel and Gretel. Would you like to hear it? The truth is full of warnings too, but not for children, not for the children at all. Once upon a time, in a village called Baga Purana, two children lived in a house that smelled like sweets. Everyone knew the house because it was the house of Shakuntala, the best baker in the village. And her two children were the luckiest in the world because they got to try all her new delicacies before they were sold at the shop. Rishi and Lakshmi were their names, a boy and girl with brown, rosy cheeks and sunny dispositions. Lakshmi was the precise planner and Rishi the bold thinker, which meant that together they could help Shakuntala tweak her recipes when a laddu or jalebi wasn't just right. Needs a teensy bit more flavor, Lakshmi might say. What about rose water, Rishi would propose. Or saffron, Lakshmi would chime. Can't know until we try, Shakuntala then piped, because unlike most parents in the village, she trusted her children's instincts more than her own. During the day, Rishi and Lakshmi would go to school, and at night they would hang on their mother like baby monkeys, pawing at her black mane of hair and hefty bosom while she baked burfi and rasmalai and gulab jamun and her famous balusha, doting on each piece until her husband, Atur, came home to taste them and rub his belly and moan, mmm. And the challenge was to get him to moan it more than once. The next day, the fruits of Shakuntala's labor would be sold in his shop, Artur's Sweets, where he would take all the credit because in those days women weren't allowed to be better than men, and Shakuntala was a better baker than any man, her husband included. Naturally, everyone knew Shakuntala was making Atur's wares, but this was expected. Wives slaving for their husbands out of sight while the husbands collected the earnings and acted the breadwinner of the house. But year after year, Shakuntala's sweets were so much better that no one in Baga Purana wanted anything else, especially the children who lined outside her shop for rosewater laddus that would all be eaten by noon. Soon kids stopped visiting the other bakeries in town, and one by one they began to close. The men tried to compete, of course, offering discounts and free samples, scouring other towns for recipes to steal, but no one could touch Shakuntala, for she had the secret ingredients of love and humility and kindness. Her baking only a means to bond with her Rishi and Lakshmi, and who could compete with that? So the men of Bhaga Purana did what men do when they're well beaten by a woman and can't find a way to fight fair. They pointed their fingers at her and screamed, "Witch!" A trial is set. What are the charges? Shakuntala asks. Luring children with magical sweets, they say. Witnesses are called. Rishi and Lakshmi defend their mother, and for a moment the outcome is in doubt. Perhaps if their father defended his wife too, then she would have escaped unscathed. But he is ashamed that people are saying out loud that the sweets in his shop aren't his, even if it's the truth. He wonders if he could bake even better sweets than his wife without her around, so he stays quiet. This seals Shakuntala's fate. Once a wife and mother, now a witch. And this has been a preview from Beasts and Beauty.